You know that feeling when you did not buy anything huge and somehow the money still disappeared? Not into one big mistake, just into small, quiet waste. A subscription you forgot about. Food you meant to cook but did not. A shirt that looked useful in the store and then stayed folded in a drawer. A gadget that solved a problem you barely had. A light left on. A delivery fee. Another duplicate item because the first one was buried somewhere you never saw again. That is the kind of leak that hurts most because it does not feel dramatic. It feels normal. Today I want to show you a calmer way to look at that leak. One Japanese idea, mottainai, can help here. In everyday use, it carries a feeling of regret over waste and respect for what already exists. In money life, that means this. Wealth is often built not by what you show, but by what you stop leaking. By the end of this video, you will have one simple mottainai-inspired money rule, plus a weekly ritual you can actually repeat without shame or perfection. And stay with me until the end, because the final section is the one overlooked idea that makes this habit stick when motivation fades. So let us begin with the quiet leak most people ignore. 1. Notice the waste while it is still small. A lot of budgets fail because people only look for the big problem. But the big problem is often a cluster of tiny ones. The food that spoiled because dinner planning was vague. The streaming service that kept renewing because canceling felt slightly annoying. The extra charging cable you bought because the old one was in a drawer somewhere. The clothes bought for a future version of your life that never quite arrived. This is why waste is so slippery. It rarely announces itself. It hides inside convenience. Take food, for example. A quiet kitchen can tell the truth faster than a spreadsheet. A half-full fridge. A container pushed to the back. Greens going soft. Rice you meant to use. A fruit bowl that looked fine 3 days ago and does not now. The fix is not to become strict in a miserable way. The first quiet habit is to plan around what you already have. Before the next grocery trip, open the fridge and the pantry first. Ask a simple question. What needs to be used now? That question alone can change the week. It saves money, yes. But it also changes the feeling in the kitchen. You stop shopping like your home is empty when it is actually full. A small notebook helps here. Write 3 things you already own that should be used first. A half onion, a package of noodles, a jar that was opened and forgotten. Then build one meal around that. No performance. Just use what is there. That is mottainai in practical form, respecting what money already brought into the house. 2. Clear the hidden waste and recurring charges. Subscriptions are tricky because they feel tiny. A few dollars here, a few dollars there. One app, one cloud plan, one membership you meant to cancel after the free trial. One service you forgot was still active because the payment came from a card you barely check. Individually, each one feels harmless. Together, they become a quiet monthly drain. Here is the calm action. Once a month, open the subscription list on your phone or bank app. Do not do this while distracted. Sit down for 2 minutes with a cup of tea if that helps. Look at every recurring charge and ask one question. Did this save me time, money, or stress this month? If the answer is no, cancel it. Not as punishment, as clarification. And if you are still using it, keep it with intention. A subscription you truly use is different from one that simply exists. That difference matters because it turns an automatic leak into a chosen tool. There's also an emotional side to this. When recurring charges pile up, the mind starts to feel crowded. It is like opening a drawer and finding old chargers, tangled cords, and packages you meant to deal with later. You are not just losing money, you are losing mental space. The quiet relief of canceling one forgotten charge can feel surprisingly large. It is not about the dollar amount alone. It is about seeing clearly again. 3. Stop buying for a life that never happened. This is one of the most human kinds of waste. The outfit for the social life you imagined. The gadget for the hobby you hoped would start. The kitchen tool for the cooking routine that looked beautiful in your head. The storage box for the organized home you plan to become on a rainy Sunday. There is no shame in this. Most people buy ideas before they buy habits, but unused purchases create a very specific kind of drag. They take up space and then they quietly accuse you. Every time you see them, they whisper that you should have been different by now. That is a heavy feeling to carry for something as ordinary as a shirt or a blender. So here is the tiny correction. Keep one note in your phone or notebook called unused purchases. Not to judge yourself, just to observe patterns. What did you buy and why did it sit untouched? Was it the wrong size? The wrong season? The wrong moment? Or did it serve an identity you were borrowing for a little while? That question is useful because it tells you what to stop repeating. Maybe you do not need another version of the same item. Maybe you need a better system. Maybe you need to wait before buying anything that is supposed to represent a new lifestyle. The emotional payoff is quiet but real. You stop treating every unused item like a personal failure. Instead, it becomes information. That is a much kinder and more effective way to learn. 4. Respect energy as money you do not see. Now let us talk about the waste that is hardest to notice because it does not look like spending. It looks like habit. A light left on in an empty room. A device always plugged in. A delivery because you did not want to walk out again. A heating or cooling setting that never gets adjusted. A small convenience that became automatic. Energy waste is important because it trains the mind to ignore small losses. And once your mind learns to ignore small losses, it becomes easier to ignore all kinds of waste. The action here is almost too simple. Choose one daily habit to notice. Maybe it is turning off the light when you leave a room. Maybe it is unplugging one charger at night. Maybe it is checking whether you can batch errands instead of making 2 separate trips. Do not try to fix everything. Just choose one thing and make it visible. A repaired object can help teach this lesson. A mug with a small chip that still works. A bag with a stitched seam. A cable held together long enough to keep serving its purpose. Repair says something calm to the nervous part of the brain. This is not broken beyond use. This does not need to be replaced yet. That small sentence can save more money than a lot of elaborate money plans. And now, a deeper truth. Money is not only arithmetic, it is attention, it is environment, it is identity. If your space invites waste, you will spend energy resisting it all day. If your drawer is cluttered, you buy duplicates. If your fridge is crowded and unclear, you forget food. If your phone is full of reminders, subscriptions, and sales prompts, you will spend from friction, not from choice. This is why a clean table matters, why a single notebook matters, why a calm kitchen matters, why a small apartment corner with just tea, paper, and a pen can feel richer than a crowded room full of things you do not use. You do not need more motivation when your environment makes the right thing easier. That is the deeper reason mottainai is useful. It is not about punishing consumption. It is about building respect into the room before waste happens. 5. Use the 4-part mottainai money rule. Here is the framework to remember. Notice it. Pause it. Repair or reuse it. Release it if it no longer fits real life. Let us slow that down. Notice it means you catch waste early. The spoiled food. The repeated purchase. The subscription you forgot. The drawer full of items you do not use. Pause it means you do not instantly replace or reorder. You wait a moment. You ask whether the problem is real or just slightly uncomfortable. Repair or reuse it means you look for the lighter answer first. Can the mug be fixed? Can the leftovers become tomorrow's lunch? Can the jacket be worn one more season? Can the app be deleted instead of renewed? Release it means you let go of the habit when it no longer serves your actual life. Not everything should be repaired forever. Some things should simply stop being repeated. This 4-part rule works because it is not extreme. It does not demand a perfect household. It just creates a pause between impulse and waste. And that pause is where money quietly returns. 6. Keep a small regret list. This sounds harsher than it is. It is actually one of the gentlest tools you can use. Once a week, write down one thing that felt wasteful. Maybe food, maybe time, maybe a purchase, maybe a charge you forgot, maybe an item you are ready to donate, repair, or stop pretending you need. Then add one sentence. What caused it? Was it rushing? Hunger? A cluttered drawer? A sale page? A bad estimate of your own energy? This is where learning begins. Not in shame, in pattern recognition. If you keep buying snacks because you're tired at 5 p.m., that is useful to know. If you keep ordering takeout because the fridge looks chaotic, that is useful to know. If you keep replacing tools because your storage is disorganized, that is useful to know. A calm money life is not built by never making mistakes. It is built by making the same mistake less often, and that is already a meaningful shift. 7. Make one Sunday use it up ritual. This is the ritual that turns the idea into a habit. Keep it short. 5 minutes is enough. On Sunday, open the fridge first. Look for what needs to be used in the next 2 days. Open your phone and check recurring charges. Open one drawer or shelf and notice one item you have not used. Write all 3 down. Food, charges, unused items. Then choose one action for the week. Use up the spinach. Cancel the trial. Return the duplicate bottle. Repair the button. Sell the old gadget. Donate the clothes you never reach for. That is it. No giant transformation. Just one quiet correction. If you want, keep a small envelope for receipts and a second one for refund slips or cancellation confirmations. That tiny physical system can make the next week easier because nothing has to live in your memory alone. The goal is not to become obsessive. The goal is to become aware early enough that waste does not compound. 8. The overlooked idea that makes it stick. Here is the final thing, and this is the part many people miss. You do not need to notice everything. You only need one honest place to look each week. Most people burn out on money habits because they try to become aware of all waste at once. That is too much. It turns a quiet practice into another performance. But if you always check the same 3 places, the habit becomes gentle. The fridge, the charges, the drawer, that is enough to start. Why this works is simple. Repetition beats intensity. A weekly glance creates trust. You begin to believe you will catch the leak before it gets too large, and that changes how you spend even before the next check-in happens. This is the quiet wealth perspective shift. Quiet wealth is not about looking rich. It is about keeping more of what already came in. It is about a home where food is eaten, not forgotten. A phone that does not quietly renew a dozen old promises. A closet that holds clothes you actually wear. A drawer with fewer duplicates because you stopped buying from uncertainty. It is a room that asks less from you. That is how small savings compound. Not with drama, with repetition. One canceled charge, one used up meal, one repaired item, one skipped duplicate purchase, one quiet week at a time. So let me ask you one simple question. What is the most common kind of waste in your own home right now? If you want to begin, do not aim for a perfect life. Aim for one calmer week. 1 week where you notice the leak earlier. 1 week where you ask, what am I quietly throwing away? That is enough to begin. Because once you see waste as a signal instead of a moral failure, everything changes. You stop scolding yourself. You start designing for fewer leaks, and money begins to feel less like something escaping your hands and more like something you are finally able to hold with care. So here is your simple challenge for this week. Tonight, or on your next quiet Sunday, take 5 minutes. Check your fridge. Check one subscription list. Check one drawer. Write down one waste pattern you noticed. Then choose one small correction. That is the mottainai money rule. Notice it, pause it. Repair or reuse it. Release it when it no longer fits real life. A calm room, a clear wallet, a little less waste. Sometimes that is how money begins to stay. If this helped, stay close for the next Quiet Yen episode. We will keep building a calmer way to think about money, one small habit at a time.